Hi everyone, this is Gaetano Smith with Subgroup 1 of the Pickup Plus project. Our group was primarily focused on order management and features relating to orders. However, we also did a little bit for the menu this time. So right here, I'm going to demo the menu functions that we added first. So we added a PDF parser into our code that will allow us to upload a PDF file to our server and convert it into SQL data for the restaurants to use on the Pickup Plus platform. So right here we have a sample PDF menu, just the name, a description, and a price for each item. So we have a plain pizza, a Sicilian pizza, and a meatball parm. So if we start our server, enter the local mode, we will have our server running, and we can go into Postman, and we can go to the API menu upload, and we can put the restaurant's ID right here in order to specify which restaurant should be getting their stuff uploaded, and we can upload a menu file. So this is our same menu.pdf, and before we send it, I will show you right here that we only have a margarita pizza and a spaghetti carbonara in our menu currently. So if we go back and go to Postman and send this, it'll add those three items to our SQL database for the menu. So we can go back and we can refresh all the data. Refresh. If we go to menu items and we select rows, we will see our plain pizza, our Sicilian pizza, and our meatball parm have all successfully and automatically been added into the database, which is a huge time saver and a great feature for restaurants who just don't want to have to manually re-input all their options. So the next functionality we're going to showcase for this demo is user verification. So the subgroup 1 created the basis for our verification throughout the entire project. We're using JSON web tokens to essentially verify a user is logged in and they are the ones making their changes. So if we start up the server again right now, we'll see that we're running it, and we can create a new user. So in this case, we're going to use my email for a very specific reason. So we're creating a new user right here. We're going to send that, and we created a user. Now, if we go back and we go to log in, we can log in with my email and my password, and this will create a access token for us. So this is our JSON web token. Normally this would be stored in the front end, but since we're not using that for this specific demo for convenience purposes, we can still send it through Postman. So now if we go to the headers and we go and we place our JSON web token right here, we have our verification. So let's go back and we'll see we're user ID 2. So when we go back in here and we're user ID 2 and we want to check out with card ID 1, we will be able to send this order and it will be created successfully. Now, just to prove that the verification does work, if we go back and we go into our header, and let's say we change this Z to an A, and we try to send this, we can't. Essentially, the JSON web token isn't properly decrypted, and we can't verify that it's me, so we can't create a new order, which is very important because you don't want people creating orders for other people. Finally, the last bit of functionality that we would like to showcase in this demo is the email. So as we discussed previously, we just placed an order. Now, if we look at this function right here, the send order confirmations email in our other file, right here, we basically created a carve out and a function that allows us to email in a confirmation to the user after they place an order. This is obviously very important for record keeping purposes and for sending receipts and status updates. So since we entered my actual email when we registered, if we go to Gmail over here, we'll actually see that I just got a new email. I was filming this 3 minutes ago because we're cutting stuff up a little bit, straight from Pickup Plus, that tells me that my order was completed. I successfully placed my order and it's ready. I'll get more notifications when it's ready for pickup, and it'll even give me my order ID. So this is a really cool feature, and it's very important for a commerce platform like Pickup Plus is. So this is the end of subgroup 1's demonstration, and we're going to pass it off to whoever's next.
Hi. This is Subgroups 2's addition to the video. To start off, we made some changes to the actual workbench. In specific, we added a couple more items to relate to the restaurants so that we can add them to the cart, delete them, and have them show up on the actual website itself. As for the actual code, what we were responsible for doing was doing all of the front end and back end connections. And what I mean by that is we had to make a bunch of HTML files such as cart HTML, Chipotle HTML, which is one of the restaurants we're using, Papa John HTML, another restaurant that we're going to be using, and Pizza Palace, the last restaurant we're going to be using. On top of that, we had to make a restaurants.html file to tie all those in together. And along with that, we had to make a lot of adjustments to the cart functions.js file, as well as the actual server.js file. In addition to that, we also did a lot of front end development with the actual visuals for the cart, as well as the restaurants. Now, to run the actual code and show what the difference is, we will type in node.server.js, type in 1, enter, and we have it running. Make sure that the workbench is running as well. Now we can open with live server to show all the differences that we have made. As you can see in the homepage, the actual layout of it has changed a lot. The colors look more appealing, and this is our main page. If you go to the restaurant section, we have Chipotle, Papa John's, and Pizza Palace. Now if you press on Pizza Palace, we have the actual menu of the two items that we have. If you go back, for Papa John's, same idea. And for Chipotle, also same idea. We made sure that we want this to be as accurate as possible, so we included a description section as well as a price section. The description can change depending on what the restaurants actually input, as well as the name and the price. And if you want to add it to the cart, you can press add to cart, and you could adjust it from there. That's something that subgroup 3 put in.
Hi, I'm Mike Walters, and I'm going to be representing Subgroup 3 to show some of the front end side of our project. Here you can see we have our home page. It has a simple tab at the top that redirects you to some common pages, a nice little welcome message, and then any text, or maybe some previews for restaurants that we'll add later on. So just taking you through some of the pages we have right now. We have our About Us page where we just have some basic information about our company, what our mission is, all that kind of stuff. We also have a support email down here that you can contact. Apart from that email, we have a specific contact page where you can fill out any information you want and use it to send us an automated message with any concerns you have. We also have a login page, which you can use to log in either to your restaurant or user account. The logic for this was handled by Tommy's group, and you can see a demonstration in more detail in his part of the video. Then we also have the cart, which for now just has this one dish, but let's say we wanted to add a little more than that. You can go to the restaurants tab. So this restaurants tab will auto-populate with any restaurants that we have. For now, we just have the three. But as restaurants register themselves with our website, there will be more options available. So let's say we want to go to Pizza Palace. The menu pops up. We have the two menu items right now. As a restaurant user, you can add more items to this menu as you want. But for now, we just have the two. So let's say we want to add it to the cart. We press the button, gives a little success message. Then let's say we want to head over to Chipotle, right? Add another menu or add another item to the cart. We got another success message. Perfect. Then we head over to our cart, get ready to pay or review. You can see what we have so far. Displays the items we have here. Let's say we don't want this pizza, right? We can just delete it pretty easily. And then we have a total down here that automatically calculates from the items we have in the cart. And we have a checkout button. This checkout page uses the Stripe API to process payments. More about that is talked about by subgroup 4. They'll go a bit more into the logic about that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the front-end side. Before we move on, I just want to go over some of the back-end logic for our cart functions. Here we have our cart HTML page, and this is the script section of it. First thing we do is once the page loads, we display the cart items right here. It's a pretty simple function. And we have some asynchronous functions to handle the rest of the logic. The first one just sends a fetch request to this API address, which is handled by the server, and just dynamically lists all of the cart items. Here we have a specific logic case that handles the case where the cart is empty, and this stops it from returning an error and kind of breaking. Here we have the display cart items function. This one just goes through and takes the result of this fetch function up here, iterates through the items that we receive from that, and just lists them using the style that we specified in the cart.css style sheet. The next function we have is the delete cart item. This also sends a fetch request to the server with a delete method, and it's just a delete method down here. It also includes the quantity and item ID. Quantity we just have set to 1, so that each time you delete an item, it removes 1, and if you want to delete multiple, you just press the delete button multiple times. The item ID is going to be passed to the function here, and it's just going to be included in the server call, and then that's how the logic knows which item we're removing from the database. Here we have the add item to cart function. This also sends a fetch request to the server with the cart/add API path. We have some information for the body of the request here. Cart ID for this case is always going to be 1, but if you want to implement multiple carts later on, we can set up an auto increment in the database later. The item ID is also in quantity are going to be passed to this function, and it's just the ID of the menu item we want to add, and then the quantity, which for now is just going to be 1, and you can click it multiple times to add multiple if you want to. And then finally, we have a button that handles the proceed to checkout function. The button detail is down here, and this basically just allows you to, once you're finished adding items to the cart, proceed to the checkout page.
What is group 4?
Okay, this is Chris with Subgroup 4, here to explain the cart integrations with transactions, with Stripe transactions, as well as the transactions integration with restaurant and user notification afterwards, and order creation. So for a quick look at the code, we go to cart.html. There's actually a front end page that'll be loaded, and this page queries the back end for the cart items and total price. Now, when the user goes to check out, they'll be sent to a different page for payment, which also has its own front end page, and in this page they will be asked to input their cart data through Stripe. Now, never at any point does our app actually access this cart data. What it does is it generates a token using Stripe's API in order to better protect users' data, and then it takes this token and sends it back to the back end to actually process the final payment. Now, once this information is passed to the back end, this will be charged to the person's credit card, and then afterwards, using the subscriber and listener design pattern, oh my, this will get cut out partially. Using the listener and subscriber, using the publisher and subscriber design pattern, we are able to publish the transaction to both the order's history logging and to notify users and the restaurants of the transaction. We use this pattern in order to build in future
Functionality.
We programmed this feature in. This guy had to get cut so much.
Yeah. Or if you ever cut this.
We use this design pattern in order to facilitate ease of change for future functionality and different ways of notifying users or restaurants of the incoming orders. Currently, we will be using this restaurant notifier and order logging in order to send email to the users and restaurants. Now, in order to show off the front end, I will be passing it off to groupmate William.
Hello, this is William. Today we're going to be starting off at the cart. Let me first start up the server. Maybe on test. So as you can see, we also added some code in order to decide whether or not we want to use a local or our AWS database that is currently testing. So we're going to be using our testing one. So to start off, let's use with a pre-populated cart. Currently the code is set up to work with our cart ID 1. What will be happening later on is we will be first querying for card ID. So whenever you reach this point, you already have a token that proves your identity, and it will generate the card ID for that specific user. For now, we're assuming user is 1. So it's listing the different items and giving you your total. Then you press checkout, and it'll take you to your payment processing. So you can set up your email, let's say wast@gmail.com, and we're going to use a test number, a test credit card. And once you press submit payment, it'll take your payment confirmation with a confirmation code. This confirmation code is automatically generated by Stripe and can later on be used for any disputes. Now we will be passing this off to Tommy to show off the email integration to where people will get email receipts.